The gallivanting governor, Gavin Newsom, has spent nearly 1 out of every 5 days in his second term traveling outside of California. This as he builds his national profile ahead of a widely expected 2028 presidential run and to promote his much-hyped memoir, Young Man in a Hurry. That's according to reports.
I like that graphic there we made of him with the little sack on his back.
Globe-trotting Gavin.
The report stating Newsom has taken 45 out-of-state trips since 2023, which equates to 229 travel days or 2 total months each year.
Wow.
Let's talk about it. Joe Pinion, he's a GOP strategist. Mally Smith is a Democratic strategist. Pleasure to have both sides of the aisle on.
Yep.
On National Report today. Joe, going to start with you. What's going on with Gavin Newsom here? I thought he was the governor of California, not spending so much time there, so it seems.
I mean, look, he's been in a holding pattern for the last 4 years. Clearly, it's the worst kept secret in American politics. Gavin Newsom for president in 2028. At the end of the day, I really don't care if he's out of the state. He might be doing more good for the people in the state not being there. This is a man who had a $21 billion surplus in his first year as governor, and now he has an $18 billion deficit. And that doesn't include the fact that they had $150 billion in COVID funds that were so poorly spent and so recklessly spent that we had men on death row getting unemployment checks. So, no, good riddance to Gavin. The people in California are likely better off, but the myth of Gavin Newsom is the thing that causes the most damage and the greatest threat to the American people right now.
Yeah, well, Mally, it appears that the myth of him having great book sales is also just that. He reportedly was caught artificially juicing his own book sales. So get this, out of the 97,000 books that were sold, 67,000 of them, that is 2/3, were purchased by his own political action committee to the tune of $1.5 million. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I think we can come together in a bipartisan basis to agree that political books are usually bad and the only people buying them are the PACs, because usually with a politician's book, it's just kind of some warmed over talking points of how much we love America and America is for Americans and things that aren't very interesting, quite truthfully. But this is a bipartisan problem. Mike Pompeo, Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, and Mike Pence all have used their PACs to buy their books. So I think it just shows you that no matter where you are politically, people don't really care for politicians' autobiographies.
Well, that's a good point.
Oh, we don't? Joe, Gavin Newsom, is he running for president? Should we expect that in the near future, some kind of announcement?
Of course he's running for president. Let's not pretend that he's going to huddle with his family on the island of Hawaii like Barack Obama, and then a decision will be made based off of whatever the family decides. The decision has already been made that he's running for president. In fact, I think they made a strategic decision not to try to be the nominee last time around for the abridged presidential election after Joe Biden did, in fact, step aside. And so that's what's happening here. I think, again, we should be focused as Republicans and as a nation on the fact that this is a man who says that he cares about the poor, the blacks, even though he's a 900 SAT kid like all of us black folks. Meanwhile, we've got black kids who are literally at the lowest reading proficiency and lowest basic reading in the modern history of the state. 9%, 93% of kids cannot read at grade level that are black in the state of California. Those are the numbers that we should be hitting him over the head with, and then maybe people will be able to look past the hair and the flair and just deal with the substance.
Mally, there will be a change. We know that. And there is a new poll that's showing a major shift in the California governor's race. Of course, that is after Representative Eric Swalwell, who had been a front-runner, had to drop out of the election. The new numbers are showing that Becerra, the state's attorney general, former attorney general, and Health and Human Services secretary under President Biden, is now surging in popularity. Emerson College poll showing he has polling about 10%, 7-point jump since March. And then billionaire Tom Steyer leading the Democrat path with 14%. He's a billionaire. I'm kind of surprised he's still in the state.
There's a lot of money.
On the GOP side, Republican Steve Hilton, who we've had on a number of times, he remains in the lead with 17%. Followed by the Riverside County Sheriff, Chad Bianco, at 14%. So there has been a big shift here. How do you view this all playing out?
Well, the race is incredibly fluid, and Swalwell getting out, and good riddance to him, has left